مسألة حولين Daf Lamed Aleph Amud Aleph line 7. Hayash Shohed Vehitiz, the Mishnah said that if someone slaughtered and cut off the head in one shot, it depends on how big the knife is. Mara Bizira Milo Savar Bahutza Savar has to be the width of the neck. The knife has to be the width of the neck and beyond. You better ask the question. Milo Savar, when it says the width, Bahutza Savar, Milo Savar. And any amount of it also has to be equal to the width of the neck. The Havula Tres Savar, which means the knife has to be at least two necks long. Odom lo tzavar, v'chutz v'mashal. Maybe do that. Does that mean just be double the neck length, or it can just be one neck length long plus any amount? Rosh Tashma. Hayash had v'atiz shnei rashim v'atachar. Someone slaughtered two animals in one shot. Even if they can lo tzavar achar, if it's enough to do one neck, kasher is kasher. Melayin lo tzavar achar, doing one neck. Ilim lo tzavar v'chavetz lo only specifically one neck. Hashtag v'achad 1 second. But about one animal, the lo tzavar achutz tzavar, you need the width of the neck and beyond. بيشتري مساجد بالقدس فهل would be possible that two animals be one. لا بشيء يضرب نص مسجد one by one neck حوت لشني سوارين beyond what's corresponding to the two necks. شمعنا من الصغار must be that when it says the width of the neck, حوت الصغار, it means also the width of the neck beyond. شمعنا we see from here that an additional amount to the neck. So whatever amount you're doing for the animal's neck has to be additionally added. But what does this apply? But Bisman Shaldif, he mentioned in the Mishnah that only when he went forward but not backward. But he back went forward, no problem. Ma'amr Nashed is Mel She'en Lo Karnaim. It's not a case of like a scalpel with no projecting piece blades. It's meaning nothing that's gonna get caught on. What if you use a needle? He said, a needle will cause tearing, therefore it's not good. Okay. What about the tool of a leather worker? Malavitina. Here, Mishnah says, I feel close to anything I love. Maybe it's referring to the leather worker tool, and the answer is no, maybe it's referring to a scalpel. We already know a scalpel. The Gemara says, Perusha Kamafarish, the Mishnah is explaining what I was saying before. My koshu is mal. What does it mean? Anything, however short the thing is, the Gemara says that's referring to a scalpel. Hashem is separate, I can prove it to you. The is the Tachmat of you want to think that was referring to a leather worker's tool. I still. Now that you said that the leather worker's tool is mutar, is why would you need to bring me a case of a scalpel? I said, that's not true. You still didn't teach me scalpel. Because you would have thought, maybe you should not use a scalpel even though there's no projecting blades because it might lead to someone using the scalpel that has a blade. Therefore, we know the decree. No Mishnah Naflas, like him the knife fell and slaughtered. Af pish Shatagadaka, even if slaughtered the other way, this last pasul. Shemar Bizvartab Zachazav for a Kurban has to be slaughtered intentionally. Mash has to flee Achatav. Whereas Taman the Nafas only fell. But if he threw it and it slaughtered, if you don't have intention. Whereas Matana Lobain Kavanah, who is the opinion that says you don't need Kavanah, Marava Lebanon, it's contaminated. But Tani Rishel is on Mina Habe, because he taught it, Zerak Sakino Asa Koda, someone threw a knife in order to stick it into the wall, but Chavish Tabakakan and slaughtered an animal. Rabbi Natan Ashir is Kasher, Ramslim Hadan Basel. Whereas Hutani Lavala, who Amarla Hakid bin Natan. He learned to write down. He said it's only opinion according to the Rebbe. We already had this halacha before. The Tanakh Mishnah says elsewhere in a separate Mishnah, the Hullin Daf, someone, any people slaughtered in the first page of the Masechet, and the people slaughtered and people watched them. Shaitan Ksirat Kasher. We said, who is according to you don't need intention. We said it's only according to the so how can we both cases? Both cases. The Yesh mentioned the first case in the beginning of Sechet, because that person, whoever it is, the deaf mute, the Majnun person, or the minor, he's trying to cut. The guy is throwing it. There's no intention. Therefore, maybe he would not. Rabbi Natan would not say it's kasher over here. Yes, we're not going to mention over here. Because at least the person who's doing it is actually mentally competent. But in the case of the Mishnah, first in the Mishnah, it's not coming from a person who's mentally competent. Therefore, you think also not kosher. Therefore, you need both cases. Rabbi Natan would hold their kasher. Eitmar, nida shina insa v'tavla. In the case of a woman who has nida, who accidentally dipped. Okay. She's able to be with her husband, but she can't eat truma. She's not even mutar for her husband. Avon karet utra isur mita b'bai. One second, according to Rav, is that she's mutar to her husband, but asur to have truma. The woman asur to her husband is karet. So tiruma is mita. So what's the hidush? I mean, how would that be mutar if karet was asur? The Gemara says, Amalei says, Ba'ala cholinu. Her husband's considered non-kadosh. Tiruma is more machmir. V'cholin labai kavanan. Cholin is not in intention. The Gemara says, not to know how you know this. The Tam Shazah, Gal Shenitlash Ubara in Sa'av. A wave came from the sea, and it had 40 sa'ah of drawn water. Benafal hadam balaklim, and landed on a person utensils to urin, they become tahor. My lavadam dumataklim. Maybe you're comparing the person to the utensils. Not like just like utensils doesn't have intention. I've had the person doesn't have intention for regular mikveh. The Gemara says, "Yimai, what's that proof? There might be a shiv masvaskin. Maybe the person is sitting there waiting for the wave to land him. Don't compare it to the kalim." Or it says, "Bichlin dimadam," and utensils are similar to the person in the opposite way. Ma'adam the kavanah that the person needs intention. Af kalim namid dekam echavin. So to the person, utensils also the person needs to have intention for it. If you want to say, if the person is sitting waiting, what he will do? What would you think? You might worry that maybe it'll be a heavy amount of rainwater landing on it, which is possible. In Amazon, maybe you might be worried that maybe it's not coming from the right part of the wave. Kamashlan, must be telling you there's no hidush, there's no Gdera saying it'll be a kasher for the wave. Whereas not to how you know that the arches of the waves do not count. It has to be from the tip of the wave. The Mishnah says, you can dip water utensils into the head of the wave, in the arches of the wave, because that's in midair. Okay, how we know? So basically, no proof that non-kosher items do not need attention. So what's the proof? The Mishnah says, fruits that actually fell into water. A person whose hands reached into the water took it. His hands become tahor because it went into the water. The fruits are not in the halacha that it was water was placed on it, right? So we had this prior, I believe, that in order for something to become tameh, fruit become tameh, it has to be actively, intentionally wet or become wet. Over here, it was not intentionally made wet. So the tameh person who sticks his hand into the water to pick up the fruits, the fruits don't become tameh because it was never intentionally put into the water. The guy's hands, who was tameh, becomes tahor. If he wanted to rinse his hands and take the fruits, his hands become fruits, and the fruits are also ill to become tameh because his hand was meant to put into the water for it. Gemara says, a question. Someone dipped for the purpose of eating non-kosher foods, and he had intention while dipping to have non-kosher foods. Asur said he can't have maaser because he didn't have intention for that. Huzakin sounds like only if he had intention. Lo huzak, no intention. No, would not be intention. Must be that you do need kavanah for even non-kosher items. Gemara says no. Even though he has intention for non-kosher foods, asur maaser he can't have maaser. Okay, that's fair. Another question. Tavavla hozak, someone dipped and did not have intention. Kilo deval as if he did not dip. My love, the kilo deval sounds like that at all. Must be that you need kavanah for even holding. The Gemara says la. Kilo lo taval maaser. It must be that it's not doesn't count for maaser. Yani kedusha stuff. Aval taval holding, but it does count for regular stuff. Who survived the Yahudim the highlight? Now, when Rabbi heard Rachman saying this, maybe he thought he was just knocking him off with answers. Nafal he actually found out an answer. Tavav lo huzak, someone dipped in with no intention. Mutar l'cholin v'asul maaser, he's able to eat non-kosher foods and not kadosh. Must be an intention for kadosh, but not cholin. Mala b'ler Yosef. Maybe we could bring a proof against Rabbi Yochanan from his Braita. Seemingly that what? For cholin you do need to have intention, and therefore the husband also, with the wife would need to have intention to be the husband. The Gemara says, Rabbi Yochanan Huda Amar Rabbi Yochanan he holds like the following opinion. Tanwar it says, Rabbi Yochanan shall be washed. Mata Lamar Shanit. Why mention washing a second time? Makish Terbos Rishna. The second washing is compared to the first washing. Mata was in Rishna, just like in the first washing, it had to have with consented intention of the person. By Sarat, after it goes to Rishna, that's the second time. But Ima Lam Be'alan Data Kohen, just like second time, the first time needs the Kohen's intention. Afghan should be added to the second time as well. The person says, but the heart has become pure, even if it's by mistake. So we see that this opinion holds that you do need it for kavanah even for mundane items. Not kita Rav Simi bar Ashi. We have Yochanan Achis. Rabbi Yochanan actually hold that you need to have intention for dipping for even holin non-English stuff. But Amar Rabbi Yochanan Achis Mishnah. He holds that the Mishnah says the flowers that came Our Mishnah said that I fell and slaughtered. Our patient even did it correctly. This not so. We asked Tamad and Afa only if it fell. Ba'apila who, but if you threw it, because she asked Kasha, please let me have no intention to slaughter. Remember, we said, Man tanad lo by kavanah d'shtei. Who says you don't need intention of slaughtering? Mar Rabbi ben Tanai to contra ben Tan. Seemingly, he would hold. But Rabbi Yochanan would also seemingly hold that you don't need intention. Stira, Gemara says, Meshchita, I feel you don't have Yosef. No. In the case of slaughtering, Rabbi Yosef would say that there's no intention needed. Because the Torah revealed that accidental korbanot slaughtering is pasul. Right, so the pasuk said we said before, when you slaughter, you need to have intention for slaughtering. But that sounds like the Torah says over there, which infers from there that excludes non-kadosh items not need intention. It's a good question. Pasuk seemingly only includes kadosh things need required slaughtering intention, but non should not. The Gemara says, "Nehi loving it's true. You don't need to have intention to slaughter. The haticha you do have intention to cut the pipes." Amar Baba says, "Bahazakin hu Rabbanan Natan Rabbanan." This on this halacha, Rabbi Natan quote unquote beat the rabbis. Miktivas v'hatachta. The pasuk doesn't say you cut the pipes. V'zavatakti mentions slaughtering. Even in kavanah haticha. Therefore, if you have an intention for cutting, afiz v'chanami l'bai, you also need intention for slaughtering. You live in the haticha. You do not need intention for slaughtering. Therefore, you also don't need intention for cutting, and therefore, Rabbi Hachmim basically did not have a good counter argument. We said the woman who fell in and did by accident. What does that mean? You want to say that maybe her friend forced her to dip. That intention by the friend good enough to make her mutar. She should even able to eat truma. The time she says, if a person became majnuna, if a person can do it for themselves, they can. Meaning, if a Kohenet who unfortunately lost her mind was Tamea and her mentally stable friend can dip for her, or force her to dip rather, it counts. So we see over here, this would be the Tomar case if the G got dipped by her friend, it would count fully, even for Maas, not just the husband. The Gemara says, the Rabbi Natan would be a Tomar case where the G fell off the bridge into water. But Renan they shouted out it's one case where she just dipped into the water to cool off. Amarava, Shahat Parava Shahat Behma Achrat Ima. Someone slaughtered a paraduma and at the same time slaughtered another animal with it. The Dever Akolpis library holds the paraduma as pasul. If another non-contact animal was unintentionally slaughtered at the same time with the paraduma, the Binatan with the Menatan, Parapis Labima Kashira. The paraduma pasul and the other animal is kasher. The first paraduma is kasher and the other animal is pasul because there was no intention for slaughtering it. Pshita was Hidush. Gemara says, teaching the Hidush that even according to Binatan, the second non-Kedosh animal slaughtered by accident, we bazul. The Torah says he shall slaughter the law. Not it and another animal. That will be the case. Maybe you would think that the Kohen goes slaughter two paraduma at the same time. Maybe in the case where another non-Kedosh animal, the paraduma will be not. Mashman, they were teaching you that is to a case of even the slaughtering of a non-Kedosh animal as well. Someone cut a squash with the paraduma. David holds the paraduma pasul. If the gore was accidentally cut with it, David holds kasher because you're not doing double shahida.